Hi there, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this episode, I'm working on a 5x7 double page spread for my Autumn 23 mini album, and I titled this page Bloom. I'm using the digital version of the collection Welcome Autumn by Carta Bella, and lots of stamps, dies, and a stencil. So this is a layered stencil, and I'm starting to work with this by starting with the yellow part, and here I'm noticing I grabbed just the wrong stamp ink, but it doesn't even matter. Even though it's more red, I actually kind of liked it, but I still decided to go with this yellowish color more with the stencil. So I'm just applying the ink here to that part of the page. And I am going to speed this up a little bit because it takes a little while. However, I am only applying the stencil to some part of the page, not all parts of the page there. It's not supposed to fill the entire page. So now I'm almost done with this part, and so I'm taking off the stencil there, and now it's time to, I'm actually deciding I will add a little more to that top there, but then I will go ahead and change the stencil so that I can also stencil the inside part there. But again, I'm still adding a few more to see where it goes because I want it to be just a little more across the page. Now I'm ready to go into the other part that has the inside part, so I'm trying to layer them a little on top to make sure that they match right, and then I'm using the brown obviously because it's going to be a sunflower kind of stencil, and so now I'm applying brown ink to the parts of the sunflower that has the seeds of the sunflower there. So that's that part, and because there's just a few more to go, I'm just going to leave it at that. And then that's this part of the page done. And now I'm ready to move on with putting the rest of my page together. As usual, I'm using Silhouette Studio to design the page because this is a digital product. It's using a digital product with this. Welcome Autumn is actually a full-on, just a normal paper collection with embellishments and whatnot, but there's also a digital version available for this collection, and so it just works fine for me because this way I can actually print out everything in the size that I need, because I scrap in a much smaller size than 12 by 12. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is a 5x7 page spread. Well, it's a double page spread, but because of that, it's a smaller scale, obviously. So I have my page open in Silhouette Studio so that I can see about the distances where I have to place my paper. So I'm using some reference points there with the patterns and stuff so that I know how to place my papers on the page. And there is a bit of layering, so I have to be mindful. I want the papers to be visible underneath the photo in a certain way. Here I'm noticing, I forgot to tuck the sunflower underneath where I had planned it in my as I was thinking out this layout. So, but it was still okay. It still worked. And then of course it needs a little leaf underneath there. So now I can continue with the layering. So that's always something to pay attention to, which layers come first, especially because I do like layering. Here I needed to add just a little bit more glue under that part of the pattern paper that I had kind of lifted up to place the sunflower underneath. So I'm tucking that back or sticking that back onto the sunflower, and now I can continue with the layering part. Now I have all the papers down, and it's time to start with the embellishings. And so I like to layer things. I guess this comes from my digital scrapbooking days, and I do like to add various clusters of embellishments onto my pages, and so that they require a lot of layering. So here, these sunflowers I actually stamped, then fussy cut, and then used my watercolor pencils to just color them and give them a nice little bit of depth there. I do like the watercolor feel to my pages, and so here I am creating a mixture of their stamped embellishments, but also obviously this collection comes with a bunch of embellishments, but I do like to use my dies and my stamps to add to my pages and give them some little extra, because obviously anything that comes with the collection and the digital version of that obviously will be much more just flat on my page. I do run a card around all the edges of my papers, even most of my embellishments, because that gives everything a bit more dimension and makes things pop off the page a little more, except for things that are die cut. I don't use that because I do like the effect that die cuts have on paper that seems a little like a tiny bit puffy, right? So I would never run a card around the edge of anything that is die cut to mess up that pretty edge there. So here I have this little tag. This comes from, I think, a Tim Holtz die cut collection, and I am deciding I would just put a date on there, and then that will be tucked underneath that butterfly there that I added. This was just an embellishment that I have in my stash, and so I want to add that, and I thought I wanted to divide them so that I would know that these are actually not one number but two numbers for October. And so that's that part, and now I just need to string it up a little and then add that to my page. So give it a little string there and add it to that cluster there on top. So this is where it will go. Before I glued down that butterfly, I had to make sure that I added this. Now with this, I can actually use this staple because the page is open and so it's accessible still. So once I put the binding, I put it in the binding, that part of the page will be closed by the binding, and so, but now it's still workable. I can do lots of things, like in my other pages I could add stitches and do all sorts of things. So now it's time for me to work on the second cluster there, and that cluster will just have a sunflower and then the title, which I die cut and stamped, and then I have all my little word strips that I like to add to my pages. These are autumn themed, and so I make sure that to add a bunch of them to my page. And then I have these little die cut flowers that I also watercolored, and then they can be scattered around the page to make sure there's a bit of scattering going on. I have this little heart that I created and tucked behind that or onto that other flower cluster there. For this heart, I had this I have some stamps for stitching, and these were kind of like just patches that are stitched, and so they come with a different kind of stamp, but I just decided to just ink up that part and add it to the heart so that the heart kind of looks stitched up that way. So now I'm ready to add more clusters there. That flower obviously needs those leaves behind. This is actually just the inside part of a larger sunflower die cut set that I have for this is just literally the most inside part of it, but it's small enough, and I think it worked well for this. Now here, because I will glue the word bloom on top of the flower, I wanted it to pop off the page a bit, and so I'm creating, instead of using foam tape, which I do have, but I felt it was easier just to use a bit of cardstock there, layer it up, glue it up behind the word bloom, and that way it will pop off the page together with where the sunflower is. So that makes a nice little title there for my page. And again, if you don't need to even get foam tape or something, you can just use several layers of cardstock, tiny bits, just cut them off, tiny scraps of cardstock, layer them on top of each other, and you create beautiful dimension. Here I am adding the word strips to this little kind of empty space that happened from the stenciling there, and now I can add these little flowers that are also part of my design. These word strips are usually available as freebies on my blog, mistyhilltops.com. If you're interested, you can just print them on heavy cardstock, trim them apart, and use them the way they are. So anyway, this is my page done for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.